This video is just showing a little more progress on the garden. There you can see I've got the 10 of those raised beds made from the pool parts finally finished up and filling up. These are the 12-inch high ones, and I'm putting about 6 inches of that the leaf compost and stuff, and then I'm putting the top 6 inches in the full compost from the bottom of the compost pile. So hopefully anything I plant in here will grow pretty good over time. We'll see. I still got to mulch it and stuff, but now there I got the peppers finally in, and I'm still working on filling up these bins here, as you can see, and a little further along there, and there's just a little trellis I made out of the old pool ladder that was part of the pool part, so I'm gonna grow some cucumbers up on that. And now it looks like the garden's finally dry enough to start doing the tomatoes. Still a little bit wet. I mean, the top half of it is passable, but once you get down about halfway, it's still really pretty muddy. So I'm going to take a chance, because I'm actually about 3 weeks late now in getting the tomatoes in, because we've had so much rain. We've had 15 inches of rain since March 1st up here. So, the garden has been pretty muddy, and the tomato plants have been just sitting on my porch, and they're just grown. They've gone wild. They've just gotten real tall and spindly and stuff, so they just can't stay out of the ground anymore. So I ran over and I tilled it again, and there you can see it's not too muddy anymore. And then I just stretch a string across a couple spikes that I put in there, and then I got some sticks that I go back and you see the ruler on the ground there, and I just kind of measure everything on 2-foot centers for these. And then I got this shovel with about a 16-inch blade on it that I like to use for the tomatoes, and I just go back and dig every 2 feet. I'm putting them in this direction. It's a little bit tight, but it works out okay. And I try to dig down the complete depth of the shovel to get the tomato planted deep in the ground. And there you can see first batch of tomatoes, and just with those cups, it makes it really easy to deal with the plants. Just shake it, squeeze it a little bit. Tomatoes come right out, and the roots, they're not root bound at all for the size of the plant, so I'm pretty happy about that. And it's just a matter of burying about the first 12-13 inches, maybe a little more of the plant down underground, and and there you have it. One of them's first one's planted. So then I'm doing the rows this way this year, and I put 18 plants in a row, so I pretty much got it broken up by I think I've got about 6 different tomato types started. So most of them will be the paste tomatoes, though. So it's just one of those boring jobs, and it's funny how once I started planting these things, the wind has really started picking up, and it just has seemed to just get worse and worse for the last 24 hours since I started planting, and these plants really are taking a beating. But there's the first row of them in, and once I get to do one row, I just take the tiller up and down a couple times quick, just where I've really packed down the dirt from kneeling on there and crawling around on the ground. I try to loosen it up again, and then I'm trying to put them 4.5 feet on center in this direction. Usually I go 5, but I'm going to try to squeeze them down a little bit this year. So, and usually I put the stakes in first for the tomatoes, but this year I'm going to make new stakes because all the old ones are damaged. So I'm trying just to get the tomatoes in the ground while I can here. We got a couple dry days coming up here, and then we're supposed to get hit on Sunday again with another inch of rain, I think. So, it's kind of, you got to work when you have the dry period. So it's just a matter of, digging a deep hole, trying to make sure that you get plenty of the tomato down in the ground, because the tomato will grow roots along the whole stem that is buried, and it really helps if you get a drought like we had last year. The roots are real deep, and it's usually moist down there no matter what happens up on the first foot or so. So I think that by putting deep in the ground like this, it really does help make it so that you use less water on the plants. They seem to be able to pull more moisture from the ground. That's basically kind of a boring job, and when you haven't been over all winter long, it does get to you. After by the end of the day, you're pretty beat up. So there's the second row, and then the same thing. It's same thing over and over again. It just repeats itself. Put a row in, and then I loosen it up with the tiller where I packed it down, and then just put in the next row. Yeah, this old tiller with the new tines that I put on it a little while ago, they are just does a really good job. They were well worth the couple dollars that I spent on them. And so there's the third row we're starting on now. And after I get the first row measured out, the 2 feet apart, I just kind of eyeball. And you get the second row in, and you get that pretty good. And then it gets, it's real easy to just follow a straight line and start the holes, in a proper location. And you can see the wind still, blowing them pretty good. It's starting to dry things out. And oh yeah, this is one of those free Harbor Freight tape measures that you get. I've been using it out in the garden a couple of years, and I just can't believe how that thing's been standing up. So, if you ever find one of those Harbor Freight coupons in the paper or something for a free tape measure, it's really, they work good in the garden. They do stand up with the dirt and the grit and everything else. And you don't have to be that accurate out here, so, the price is right. So this is, just... This year I cut back a little bit on the tomatoes too. There's a earthworm. I can't believe how many of these big worms I dug up. There's I cut back on the tomatoes. I have 4.5 rows, and then I'm gonna go out and start collecting some mulch. So I got the Cyclone Rake out and hooked up to the tractor here, and it's kind of hard to see from this video, but the grass is really it's overgrown. It's a little bit taller than it should be, and it's still wet, kind of muddy out a little bit. And I figured I'd give this a good maiden voyage to try it out. Last fall, after I had the problems last fall, I think we got everything straightened out. And so this is really going to be the first test for the spring that I'm doing now. So there I am. I got the first bag full, and I could feel it was a little bit overfull because of the weight pulling the tractor sideways on the hills and stuff. But it's it's real easy to dump the bag on these units. It's just a couple. You have the 2 flaps like that. You have 3 buckles on, and you pop the buckles apart, and those flaps open up. And then there's another set of 5 buckles that hold that top and bottom flap on. And there you can see it's definitely over full. I should have stopped a little bit short of that, and the bag is just totally overpacked, and it's just amazing how much this thing can hold when you fill it up like that. But it does, it's a little bit more of a problem to empty it when you get it that full. It doesn't just fall right out. Like when you leave, if you fill it about 3/4 of the way, it empties no problem. So that was the first bag full. And it was, you can see the stuff is, it was real damp and wet, and So I decided I'd just, for the heck of it, check the hose just to make sure everything was okay. And because last year I was having a lot of stuff build up in the boot and, plug things up. And sure enough, there's not one drop of grass in that boot. This 8-inch system is just awesome. It's just working out so good. So once you dump it, same thing to close it back up. It takes overall it takes you probably about maybe 10 minutes to dump a bag. You just have to clip those 5 clips back that hold the first 2 flaps, and then there's some Velcro that you just swing around that final cover, and then just three clips on that. And it's at first I thought it was kind of a pain in the neck system to work with, but it really very simple, and it just works over and over again. Here's another load. This is the second load that I just cut. But all this Velcro and everything, I was worried about it getting grass in it and stuff like that, and not working right. But it just doesn't plug up or anything. It really is a nice system. And there you can see when you have a little bit less in it, have it filled 3/4 or maybe a little bit more than that, it's much easier to dump too. And once you get over that 3/4 fill mark, it does pull the tractor a little bit sideways and make it a little bit hard to steer on hills, especially when it's damp. So that was another load. I dumped, and this is just about real time. That took maybe about 5 minutes by the time you dump it and you get going again. So far, the first 2 loads, no problems, no plugging. The pickup has been perfect. Well, there you can see there's that top screen, and this is that the full top screen bag, and never plugs up either. And there's another load. A little bit less I got in at that time, but and then here's another one. This was a real wet, heavy load that I've got. And then there's another one. This one was a little bit drier now that it's getting to be afternoon. But, looking at it, there's no blowout from the vent anymore. There's nothing building up in, any spots on the Cyclone Rake. So it seems like this 8-inch system is really, it's kind of like the perfect match for my tractor from what I'm seeing. And there it is after probably about 8-10 bags, still perfectly clear. And I cut some nasty stuff today too, so I'm real happy. But there you can see what's happening to the tomatoes. They're all been blown for 24 hours. They're all turning white. The leaves are turning white. Some of them are breaking off, so I'm not really sure how many are going to survive this wind, but that's why I got the mulch. So now I can start, just taking this mulch and, getting it spread around the plants, hopefully to block some of the wind and keep some of the moisture in it like that. So, that's my next job that I'm working on now is trying to get these things, trying to save them, because we are going to get like 2 more days of this wind from what they're saying. So, hopefully, I can save them. And you can see that Cyclone Rake just does an awesome job besides making the mulch. It just picks up everything, and my poor little dash hand doesn't get the grass stuck on her belly and stuff when she goes out when I use that. So, it really does do a good job. And then let's go check on the little robins. This is, I think they're about, 5 days old now, 6 days old, and they just barely fit in the nest now. They're just about look like birds. They've got feathers, and you can, they just sit there and wait for the mother to come feed them, and she's just constantly flying, back and forth. She doesn't get a minute's break, and they're starting to communicate with her now, too. They're starting to be able to recognize her sounds and talk with her. And there's my tomato stakes from last year, well, last couple of years. And next video, I'll be replacing them. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.